में की जय, राधा गोविंद की जय, तुलसी महारानी की जय, श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयामुदीरये। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्ति भवति नैष्टिकी। Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 26 and Text 19. Daivat Kshubhita Dharmanyam Daiva Kshubhita Dharmanyam Swasyam Yonau Paraha Puman Swasyam Yonau Parah Puman Adhatta Viryam Sasuta Adhatta Viryam Sasuta Mahat-tattvam Hiranmayam Mahat-tattvam Hiranmayam Daiva Kshubhita Dharminyam Swasyam Yonau Parah Puma Adhatta Viryam Sasuta Mahat-tattvam Hiranmayam. Daivat, by the destiny of the conditioned souls, Kshubhita, agitated, Dharminyam, whose equilibrium of the modes, Swasyam, his own, Yonau, in the womb, material nature, Parah Puman, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Adhatta, impregnated, Viryam, semen, is internal potency, Sa, she, material nature, Asuta, delivered, Mahat-tattvam, the sum total of cosmic intelligence, Hiranmayam, known as Hiranmaya. Translation, purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation, after the Supreme Personality of Godhead impregnates material nature with His internal potency, material nature delivers the sum total of the cosmic intelligence which is known as Hiranmaya. This takes place in material nature when she is agitated by the destinations of the conditioned souls. Please repeat after the Supreme Personality of Godhead impregnates material nature with His internal potency, material nature delivers the sum total of the cosmic intelligence which is known as Hiranmaya. This takes place in material nature when she is agitated by the destinations of the conditioned souls. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. This impregnation of material nature is described in Bhagavad Gita, 14th chapter, verse 3. Material nature's primal factor is the Mahat-tattva, or breeding source of all varieties. This part of material nature, which is called Pradhana as well as Brahman, is impregnated by the Supreme Personality of Godhead and delivers varieties of living entities. Material nature in this connection is called Brahman because it is a perverted reflection of the spiritual nature. It is described in the Vishnu Purana that the living entities belong to the spiritual nature. The potency of the Supreme Lord is spiritual, and the living entities, although they are called marginal potency, are also spiritual. If the living entities were not spiritual, this description of impregnation by the Supreme Lord would not be applicable. The Supreme Lord does not put his semen into that which is not spiritual, but it is stated here that the Supreme Person puts his semen into material nature. This means that the living entities are spiritual by nature. After impregnation, material nature delivers all kinds of living entities, beginning from the greatest living creature, Lord Brahma, down to the insignificant ant in all varieties of form. In Bhagavad Gita, material nature is clearly mentioned as Sarvayonishu. This means that all varieties of species, demigods, human beings, animals, birds, and beasts, whatever is manifested. Material nature is the mother, and the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the seed-giving father. Generally, it is experienced that the father gives life to the child, but the mother gives its body. Although the seed of life is given by the father, the body develops within the womb of the mother. Similarly, the spiritual living entities are impregnated into the womb of material nature, but the body, being supplied by material nature, takes on many different species and forms of life. The theory that the symptoms of life are manifest by the interaction of the 24 elements, material elements, is not supported here. The living force comes directly from the Supreme Personality of Godhead and is completely spiritual. Therefore, no material scientific advancement can produce life. The living force comes from the spiritual world and has nothing to do with the interaction of the material elements. Essence Bhakti-vedanta purport. Om ajnanatimirandhasya jnananjana shalakaya chakshurunmilitam ena tasmai Shri Gurave namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Nitanamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunnavadi Pashyata Deshatarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So Mother Devahuti asks this question to Lord Kapila about the relation between the Supreme Personality of Godhead and the material nature. How are they connected? So here it is mentioned that Daivat Kshubita Dharmanyam, the Supreme Lord actually impregnates the material nature with his internal potency. Swasya means his own, Yoni means material nature. This material nature, material energy is also one of the energies of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And so, Swasyam Yonau Parapuman, that is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Adatta impregnated Viryam, semen. Then Sa Suta, that material nature, delivered a sum of all the living entities. That is called Mahat-tattvam Hiranmayam. Hiranmaya Mahat-tattva. It's a golden hue, and the sum total of all living entities are there, which are been injected into this material nature to produce this Mahat-tattva. The sum total of all cosmic intelligence. So Prabhupada is saying here, Mahat-tattva is the breeding source of all varieties. Initially, the material nature is equilibrium. There is no agitation inside. It's an equilibrium neutral stage. That's called pradhana. But when Lord, in the form of Mahavishnu, glances on the material nature, through the glance, he impregnates innumerable living entities into the womb of Mother Nature. So, ordinary jivas we see, they can impregnate to produce one child, maybe in some cases 2 children, maybe in rare cases some 3, 4, like that. Some living entities like pigs, you see some dozens. But here you see the Lord's potency. He injects all living entities just by his glance. And the first thing that material nature produces is called Mahat-tattvam. That means the pradhana now gets agitated. 3 modes appear. And it is said that Daiva Shubhita Dharminyam, Shubhita, agitated. So Dharminyam, this nature gets agitated because of the destinations of the conditioned souls, Daivat. So, what exactly is happening is the Mahat-tattva, it is injected with all the living entities. Each living entity wants a certain destination. So, by its desire and by its previous fruitive activities, the living entities are given a certain destination. And since they have to reach their destinations, there is a agitation. So now material nature will start taking action, and the first thing that it has produced is the Mahat-tattva, which is the breeding source of all varieties. All varieties in this world comes from Mahat-tattva. That is the original breeding place. It could be the living entities of various shapes and forms, starting from Lord Brahma up to the form of ant, or it could be the material manifestations that we are seeing here. The ingredients, the modes, the time, everything is now gets activated. So here the important point is Parapuman Adatta Viryam Sasuta. The Supreme Lord places his semen, Viryam, The Viryam contains the life. Even in the conditioned life, when a man and a male and a female combines, the male supplies the semen which contains the life. Life means it contains soul. And that semen, when it enters the womb of the mother, it starts developing the body. All the ingredients for the development of the body are supplied by the mother's body. So here, material nature is the mother, and the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the Virginal Father. And the Virginal Father is impregnating all the souls who are supposed to be in this universe, or in these universes. All the souls is introducing in one shot. So in an ordinary man, ordinary living entity, so one important thing is that the life is already there in the semen, even at that stage. And since life is there, the spirit is there, the body is growing. The spirit gets this body. This is a machine given by material nature. So, although the life symptoms appear to be around 7th month of the pregnancy, after the pregnancy, but the soul is present from day one. The life is present from the day one. Then only the body is growing. Without life, it's a dead body. There is no growth. Sometimes the child is born but dead. There is no soul. Why? You see, some children are born very healthy, some are born dead. That's because the soul is not there. The life has gone from the child. So, body is given by the mother. So, since the life is there from day one, the child is already taken the shelter of mother, and so the child should be protected from day one. Mother is so affectionate to the children, and her affection should extend to from the day one. As soon as the child enters the womb, it is taking shape. The body is taking shape. It's just a question of time, say 9 months or 10 months, before which the child can come out and starts pursuing its destiny. So that means the child's dependence on mother begins from the day one. After the impregnation happens, the child is completely under the shelter of mother, and mother is giving the body all the ingredients required for the body. That's why during pregnancy there are certain rules and regulations, what kind of food, what kind of nutrition, and so that the child comes out healthily. So mother's affection is already supplying all these ingredients to the child, that life which has taken shelter, and then the body is developing. And once the body is mature, around about 9th, 10th month, sometimes there is a, in some cases, because of some emergencies, they may have to deliver the baby early. But otherwise, normally around 9-10 months, the child comes out. So the important point is, since the life is there and her own child is there, she should not resort to abortion. The child is already there inside the body, and she is actually, generally all mothers are very affectionate to the child, and she or he, that boy or the girl, is already there inside the womb. just that is taking little time to come out. But her own child is inside. So that's why that life, that soul should be given a chance to come out and pursue its destiny. And if the child is very fortunate, if he is born in a Vaishnava family, or he comes in contact with a pure devotee later on, there is a opportunity for him to become a great devotee and transcend this birth after birth cycle. So mother should give the chance to the child and ensure that the child again doesn't have to take shelter of one more womb. This is the real parents. Real mother and father means, the children should not be allowed to enter into one more womb, but they get the liberation, moksha, and goes back to Krishna. So here, Krishna also, he impregnates the material nature with innumerable living entities, and he gave chance to all living entities to survive and live. So in this world, every living entity has got one right, and that is the right to live at the cost of Father, Almighty Father. The whole material nature, all resources are given to us so that on one side the living entities can pursue their destination, their so-called enjoyments, and then on the other side they can also get an opportunity to come out of this cycle. Because birth is not a pleasant experience. Inside the womb, 9 months, 10 months, he is stuck up inside the womb. So it's not a comfortable situation. So that's why somebody who is in knowledge, he understands that how I can put an end to all this. So for that purpose only, Krishna this is his leela. What is his leela? His leela is to create this world and give chance to all the living entities. And then, as in the last verse we have seen, he appears as Antaha Purusha Rupena Kala Rupena Yobahihi. And then he takes the form of a time, the external, in the outside, but Antaha, in each and every living entity, body is also present. Antaha Rupena. So by these two forms, the Lord delivers. He actually adjusts all the material elements and fulfills the desires of the living entities. But the same Lord, out of his mercy, he also comes out from the heart as a bona fide spiritual master. Prabhupada is an external manifestation of Paramatma, visible to our eyes. He is non-different from Paramatma. But he never claims that I am Vishnu. This is important. He says, I am servant of servant of servant. So, although everything is coming from Krishna, everybody has to execute according to the positions assigned by Krishna. Sri Radha Govinda ki jai. So here, Prabhupada is saying, material nature delivers all kinds of living entities, beginning from Lord Brahma down to the ant. So now, Lord Brahma has a power to control the whole cosmic manifestation, whole universe. And Sun God is also a demigod, he is also produced, created, and then he controls all our vision. He controls our eyes. So, and about what is our position, we are all controlled. So here it is mentioned, the living entities that are produced from material nature are of three kinds. Adi Bhautika, Adi Daivika, Adhyatmika. Here, Adi Bhautika refers to the controllers of the senses. That is, all our senses are controlled by a demigod. They are called Adi Bhautika. Adhyatmic means the conditioned living entities. Adi Bhautika means this material body. Here, the controller and the controlled are different because of this material body. The demigod is having a powerful body by which he can control. For example, sun god, gigantic body. And we have very tiny, minute bodies. So that's why that body is also called Purusha, and it is also considered part of the creation. Controller and control. These perceptions are also given by Krishna. We automatically know who is the controller, and we automatically know who is the controlled. Even in the lower species also you see who is the controller and who is controlled. You can easily see. Like once I was coming from Vijayawada to Hyderabad, and then driver wanted some coffee, tea or something. So then we stopped at a restaurant. Car is stopped a little away. So the driver went, and then I'm looking through the window. I saw one small bird, in the bushes there. Is trying to come out, eat something and go inside, like that. And then suddenly it rushed inside. Then I said, what happened? There's one more big bird started coming towards it. As soon as the small bird saw, from a distance, it rushed inside and then trying to save itself. The question is how the small bird, actually I have not seen that big bird. Very colorful it is. Not seen. We don't know whether that bird also seen or not. But as soon as it knows, it understood. It is my controller. So like that, there are distinctions within the conditioned living entities. The varieties, that's why it is called. This means that all varieties of species, they come out, and Mother Nature is she is the mother and Krishna is the father. And Prabhupada explains one important point. The life which is present in the semen, either it could be single life or it could be innumerable. Like Mahavishnu has placed innumerable living entities in one shot. That life is spiritual. That life, that spirit soul is spiritual in constitution, and it is not material. It is spiritual. Now, that's why here it is mentioned that Swasyam Viryam means Prabhupada is saying by his internal potency. The living entities, they come under the category of spiritual nature. They do not belong to the material nature. The living entity directly comes from the spiritual world, and it has nothing to do with this matter. That is our original position. We have nothing to do with this material world, this matter. We are spiritual in constitution, and we come directly from the spiritual world. And Krishna places all such living entities who want to enjoy this world independent of the Supreme Lord. Such living entities are placed into material nature, personally by him. He impregnates by his glands. In fact, at the point where the glands is about to touch the material nature, he appears as Lord Shiva. And Shiva is the one who places the living entities into the womb of material nature. So, Krishna, he remains always transcendental. His activities are transcendental. That's why they are called leelas. And the living entities are also transcendental and spiritual. But as soon as they come in contact with this material world, their consciousness becomes polluted with these three modes of enjoyment, the tendencies to enjoy in this world. That pollutes the consciousness, and then he becomes conditioned. He is no more transcendental. So the whole endeavor of Krishna consciousness is how we can come out of these conditions of this world and become transcendental. This is our goal. So Prabhupada is saying here, since the living entity is spiritual, no material scientific advancement can produce life. It's a very important point. The life that we see all around us, life symptoms that we see, it is not combination of matter. Sometimes they say one day we will create the living entity. Even today there are some people who believe this. One day we will create this. Living entity by nature is spiritual and eternal. Its ambitions are eternal. Its plans for enjoyment are eternal. It's because it is by nature is like that. Its constitution is it never dies. This is a living entity. So one should not think, okay, there is some cloning is happening, some kind of living species are coming, they're able to produce and all that. But it is very clear that they can never create life by any combination of material elements. There are 24 elements, and by any of those combinations, they will not be able to produce life. So that means life is always coming from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and under His shelter only the life can survive here in this material world. And by His kindness, Krishna has produced this world, while because we are desiring, here it is mentioned, the agitated by the destinations of the conditioned souls. Conditioned souls want to achieve something in this world. So, in the previous creation, when it is wound up, all the living entities will merge into the body of Mahavishnu, along with their conditioned status. So, when they merge, at the time, they are having certain karma, certain tendencies, certain nature. And so, in the next creation, when Mahavishnu injects those living entities into material nature, they start from that point. If some jiva is like a fish, it starts from there. So that means all species of life are there from the beginning, day one. It is a myth that one living entity became the other living entity and there is something called evolution. All living entities are present from day one. And here also it is mentioned, all varieties are present from the day one. Lord Brahma's body is available, and ants' body is also available. Mold is ready. Now material nature is going to give bodies to everybody and places the appropriate souls into it so that they can come out and pursue their conditioned life. We'll see how the process happens. It's a process that takes place, and many personalities are involved. Creation is not happening impersonally. It is happening by a personal process. How we see the creation in this world, but on a massive scale, that is we can see in the life of in the God's leela, Krishna's leela. Sometimes some devotees, some people may ask this question, why these leelas have to be studied? Krishna leela in Vrindavan, Krishna leela in Mathura, they are the most sweetest pastimes. The childhood pastimes are as a youthful pastimes in Dwaraka, they're all very exciting. Why these pastimes have to be read? The point is, a person who is in the beginning stages, he cannot understand the spiritual nature and the spiritual pastimes of the Supreme Personality of God. It is better he understands Krishna's pastimes in this material, in creation, maintenance and destruction of this material world. He should see the power of the Supreme Personality of God. He should see his compassion, and he should see how closely he is involved in giving this facility to each one of us. And once we understand the difference between Krishna, Vishnu and us, that is a great beginning. Because we also, everybody knows here how to create, how to produce a child. But when he hears this, Parah Puman, he understands that Krishna is not ordinary Puman, he is Parah Puman. Just one glass sets everything in motion. Material nature does various wonderful things by its laws, physical laws, and all varieties of species comes out. So one should feel grateful. One should accept that there is a Supreme Father. Krishna is there, Mahavishnu is there, is a Supreme Father. Mahavishnu is also known as Narayana, because he is the Supreme Nara, and he creates the water, that is Nara. It is explained in one purport. And since he resides in that water, he is known as Ayana, Narayana. So there are innumerable Narayanas. And they are all expansions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. The innumerable Narayanas. But some people may not accept some of these expansions. But one thing is clear, Narayana or Krishna is the Supreme Father. Sarvayonishu kaunteya sambhavami. He says, Aham bija pradapitha. I am the seed-giving Father. So, Father is supplying so many things. Father is having, he has given us so many facilities. And the Father's family is very big. 84 lakh species are there. And millions and billions of living entities are there. And they all have a right to live. And who is giving maintenance to them? Lord is taking care. You don't worry. You don't encroach on their things. Tena tektvena bunjita. As much as you are been given, that much you take, and you be grateful to Krishna and render your services to the Lord. Develop your devotion to Him. Develop the affection for Him. This is the goal of life. Sometimes Prabhupada gives this example. In a family, maybe let us say somebody is a very intelligent son, and he is bringing a lot of, he is doing a lot of things. But in the same family, there could be, somebody who is a little dumb or dull, or handicapped, or having so many issues. Nowadays, this autism is increasing in the children. Autism. And those children, they look big, but actually internal development is very less. They look like a young man, but their internal development will be like some 5th class, 6th class, or something like that. So, if the talented children, they say, these, who are these, autism and physically disabled children, and he goes and tells the father, they're all a burden for the family. Why don't you finish them off? Kill them. Now, will any father agree to this? Will any mother agree to this? Actually, I have seen many parents, although the child is physically disabled or having this autism and various kinds of problems, they take care very nicely. Actually, they are very responsible parents. One father, he was mentioning to me how his child is disabled. He's not fully, maturely grown up. And that father was explaining to me that yes, he should be taken care and he should pursue his life, and so that in the next life he may have a better birth. If somebody, let us say, recognizes that there is some problem with the child and kills the child in the womb, again that living entity has to again enter one more womb with the same karma. Again he has to come out as a disabled person only. But meanwhile, the parents are not allowing the child to grow, not allowing the child to lead his life. He has a right to live. So no father will agree. Similarly, the Supreme Father, he will not agree. Even animals are also his children only. Every living entity is his children. So that means ant and mosquitoes, even they cannot be killed. They have a right to live. They have a right to live. Unless they come to kill you or something, to protect yourself you can do. Self-protection is permitted. Otherwise, everybody. In fact, it is said that a responsible Grihastha in the Vedic times, he has to feed all the living entities in his house. And Shastra says, even if there is a serpent, snake, he has to give something. Very exalted principle. Because they know that it's all one family. It's Lord's family. All living entities, because of their previous karmas, they got certain bodies and they have a right to live. Krishna permitted this. Who am I to terminate it? Lord has permitted. He has done so much work to give that option. See, you can see he expanded into Mahavishnu. So many things are happening. All that Krishna has done just to give that chance to that living entity. Now who are we to, kill the living entity or take away that chance? We have no right. So this is the real understanding of Krishna consciousness. And of course the devotees, not only they respect this right to live, they also want to give this knowledge of the relation between the living entity and the Supreme Father, Krishna. And if the living entity is fortunate to accept this knowledge and tries to revive its natural affection towards the Father, actually he will be rescued. The father will be very glad to receive the child back. It is said that Krishna is 10 times eager, much more eager to take us back to our original home, to remain like a beggar in this world. Even the biggest person is a beggar. in this world. So these are the important points. Krishna is eager. He has given so many opportunities. One should take advantage. And the easiest way to attain Krishna is Saru Prabhupada's mission. As much as you can, render your services as much as you can, then our path to back to home is clear. Stop here. Any questions? Yeah.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yeah.
It was mentioned that internal energy is the semen of the Lord. So how do we understand? Sometimes it's mentioned that Lord's form is of internal energy, and here it is mentioned semen is internal energy. So both are like different things altogether.
Actually, as I said, semen contains the living entities, and living entities belong to the spiritual energy. So it is internal energy. See, internal energy doesn't mean all internal energy. It is, living entities are also part of internal energy, and they are placed. And the important point is that they can never be created in this world, the living entities. Actually, in 60s, when the scientists are producing so many things, they also, I think, cloning or many things are, test tube babies and many things are coming out. At one point they asked Prabhupada, is there a chance that by this development of scientific advancement, one day, do you think the scientists can produce the soul? Create a soul? Prabhupada says, no. Soul comes from Krishna, soul comes from spiritual world. It is an eternal being. Matter is temporary. Combining temporary things, how can you produce eternal, permanent? All are temporary. By combining, how can you produce something permanent? It is not possible. Matter cannot produce consciousness. It cannot produce spirit, soul. See, this matter is there. It doesn't have any consciousness. Even if I beat like this, nobody is there to experience. So these are the important points. And this propaganda has to be countered by the devotees. In our preaching, we should counter this propaganda. You may say, Prabhu, nobody is talking like this. That, life comes from matter and all. Actually, they are talking, even if we are not able to see. But the whole science that has been developed today is based on this fundamental understanding that everything is made up of matter, including the life. So that's why that science is very demoniac. This advancement will only enhance godlessness. Godless, if somebody believes. But somebody understands, okay, whatever, out of ignorance they have produced some technology, let me use it for Krishna, that is okay. But if somebody gets believed into this system that, okay, this is something wonderful, then he lost his opportunity. Okay, so devotees, we have a lot of preaching challenges, and particularly in the scientific arena, there's a lot of work to do. So as our movement is growing, I'm sure many scientific brains will take shelter of this movement, and they will systematically counteract of course, this lives come from matter and all the Prabhupada already counteracted. Even our bhakta can refute this. It doesn't require some exalted this thing. But but scientists sometimes they expect the same language. Scientists know if you tell some this simple terminology, they can't understand. They need some complicated knowledge. I'm not able to repeat. There are some terminologies that scientists come up with. All complicated. That's all they're doing. bringing out some complex terminologies, but other than that, there is no solution to the suffering of the humankind. There is no solution. This is the problem. So, devotees and somebody has a scientific bent of mind, you should come up with the terminology, or using the same terminology, you should refute. This technique Prabhupada gives. He says, you take the terminology from them. It's like you take the stones. You take the stone from them, and using the stone you break their teeth. So it's like that. We have to take those words, some complex terminologies they'll be creating, and we should also create, in that same terminology, you can go and present the Vedic version. And what is Vedic version? Bhagavat version. Krishna is the source. And Krishna is behind every transformation. Krishna is source for everything. If devotees can prove this, it's a great service to Prabhupada's movement. So we have a lot of reading to do, lot of analysis to do, and lot of preaching to do. Srila Prabhupada